Here at Eastwood, people often ask us what's the best way to polish a car. So we asked an expert who laid out 2 methods using our random orbital polisher. Depending on how much time you want to invest, you can use a one-step process that will remove swirls and scratches from the paint, or you can opt for a more in-depth 3-step process which will achieve an even more brilliant finish. Here's Kevin showing the 3-step process. If you want to see the 1-step process, there will be a link at the end of the video. And remember, if you want to visit Eastwood.com at any time, simply click or tap the button in the top corner of the video.
What's up, guys? I'm Kevin with UltraFine. Today we're going to be doing a paint correction 3-step process with this Eastwood Orbital buffer here on this black vehicle back here. What that's going to do is the compound is going to remove a bunch of scratches, and then the multi-step polish process is going to bring up the gloss, remove any marks that could have been caused by the buffer, and just really bring that car back to the original shine that it was supposed to have. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do to this panel is clay bar. What that's going to do is it's going to pull out all the contaminants that are in the paint so that when we buff, we're actually buffing the paint and not just buffing off the contaminants first. So when you are claying the car, so you got it all sprayed, and when you do clay, I would stay away from decals like this or anything that you do have on the car, because the clay is going to get in the crack or the crevice right here, and it's just a pain to get out. You got to use a brush or you got to use whatever, and it's just a pain. You don't want to do that. So just easily stay away from it. To get in little creases like this, you can just take your hand, contour the clay to get in there. And then as you can see from this door here, all the dirt comes off of the paint and onto the clay. For the multi-step process we're doing to this door, it's a little more in depth, and we want to be mindful of things that aren't paint, like decals and trim, because we don't want to burn through them, as well as the door handle, which is plastic. That paint heats up a lot faster. It's way easy to tape off too. For this 3-step process, I'm using the Eastwood Orbital Polisher. It has a lot of torque, so it can provide that cutting power that you need, but it does oscillate easily so that if you get into a tight jam, it helps reduce heat, which helps reduce burn through. For this process, we're going to put some compound on the pad. The amount that we use will vary depending on the condition of the panel that you're working on. This right here is a good amount that I'm going to use. Now I'm putting it on the paint just to kind of maneuver it around a little bit so that when I start the buffer, it doesn't sling everywhere. I'm going to start off slow, just like I did on the 1-step, and really just start to work the compound in a little bit. As it's worked in now, I'm going to speed up the process more to really help cut into the paint and remove some of these scratches. So here's a quick tip for you. To check your progress, just wipe off a little section. If it's bad, you can continue to work with what you have on the panel. If not, wipe off the whole thing to see what you have. If that section looks good, then you can wipe off the whole panel to see what the entire thing looks like. Now that we're happy with the results of the first step, we're going to swap pads to a softer polishing pad. We're going to take the polish and apply it to the pad like we did the first step, and evenly distribute it on the paint. We're going to turn the machine up to start the polishing process. One mistake I've seen is focusing on a spot for too long, which creates excessive heat, which will then burn through the paint. For step 3, we're going to replace the pad with a clean one and just repeat the process that we just did on step 2. So to tackle these scratches by hand without having the huge expense of other machinery, put some polish on a rag, get it on your finger right there, and just wipe. You don't want to use too much or else it'll get in the cracks right there and that'll create a bigger issue. But just polish, take another dry section, to wipe off to remove all those pesky fingernail scratches. While it may look good inside, the real test is outside in the sun. So as you can see here, the paint correction process turned out great. With this Eastwood polisher and this 3M 3-step system right here, you can easily knock this out in a day. For all this stuff, check out eastwood.com.